police still investigating possible hate crime.
He does claim that it was not racially motivated.
6 of the victims were women of Asian descent.
And yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
Potentially sexual addiction.
Fatal brutal beating in San Francisco to a string of violent robberies in Oakland's Chinatown.
He snatches her wallet. It's the latest in a string of crimes against Asians in the Bay Area and beyond. The Stop AAPI Hate Reporting Center has received more than 2,800 incidents of discrimination across the country since the pandemic began.
On the 16th of March, Robert Aaron Long killed 8 people at 3 Atlanta area spas. Their names were Soon Chung Park, Hyunjung Grant, maiden name Kim, Soon Cha Kim, Young A Yu, Xiao Zhe Tan, Dao Yo Fong, Delana Ashley Yeon, and Paul Andre Michel. 6 of them were Asian women. For anyone looking for a more accurate pronunciation, I used the AAJA Pronunciation Guide for Asian Victims of Atlanta Shootings. There has been a lot of back and forth about whether this is a hate crime. As of March 21st, the Phoenix Business Journal reported that the Atlanta police say it's too early to say whether it was a hate crime. I think, no matter how you spin it, it was a hate crime. According to a report from the Center for the Study of Hate at the California State University, anti-Asian hate crimes surge 145%, while overall hate crimes drop 6%. Quite clearly, there are better, more educated voices than mine to learn from. So, treat this video as an inadequate list of videos to watch and people to listen out for. I've sectioned this video into 3 parts. Part 1 is people to watch. Part 2 is links to non-profits, resources, and GoFundMes. Part 3 is an inadequate and cursory look at anti-Asian hate in New Zealand / Aotearoa. I will also add a Google Doc or something to that extent with all the links to the mentioned videos and non-profits and sources below. So if you want to bypass this video altogether and look through the content yourselves, you can do that too. Part 1. People to watch. Your mom Ashley. She usually does vlogs, and I guess you would call them lifestyle videos as well as lookbook videos. 6 days ago she uploaded a video called Asian American Hate Crimes and My Experience with Racism. She's made this video a fundraiser for Asian Americans Advancing Justice, collected by Advancing Justice, AAJC. It's super simple to donate this way, so I encourage it. Watch her. They do a huge range of videos featuring Shane and Ryan, aka the Ghoul Boys, and Steve and Lim. I believe the 3 of them also own the company. They do fun videos about history, food rankings, a bit of podcasting, tons of stuff. 6 days ago, they posted a video called Let's Talk About the Rise in Hate Crimes Against Asian Americans. They did a live chat with the co-founders of the Hate is a Virus organization, Tammy Cho and Michelle Hanabusa. I'll talk more about their organization in part 2. Frederick Chen. He does videos about his relationship and gaming and his life. 3 days ago, he uploaded a video called Let's Talk About #StopAsianHate, since no one else will. He also mentions other Asian creators that you should check out. I haven't had a chance to look into them yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Shiran J. Zhao. They do videos on cultural influences and inaccuracies in movies and TV shows like Mulan and Avatar Legend of Aang. They're also an author, and their book Iron Widow is coming out this year. On March 22nd, they posted a video called On Anti-Asian Hate Crimes and How You Can Help, #StopAsianHate, #StopAAPIHate. This video is also a fundraiser for Stop Asian Hate, which is collected by GoFundMe.org, which is for an AAPI community fund, which goes towards a variety of AAPI foundations. Try Guys. Their whole thing is kind of in the name. They're guys, and they try things. Like at-home workouts, leggings, baking without a recipe, pretty much anything. On the 25th of March, they posted a video called We Need to Talk About Anti-Asian Hate, with Eugene as the host. This video is about an hour long. You'd probably have to watch it a couple times to really let all the information sink in. This video is also a fundraiser for Stop Asian Hate, also collected by the AAPI Community Fund. The Real Daytime. They do Girl Talk, where they discuss relationships, both romantic and platonic, politics, a pretty large variety of topics. Their hosts are Gazelle Beauvais, Adrienne Houghton, Lonnie Love, and Jeannie Mai. A month ago, they posted a video called An Uptick in Attacks Against Elderly Asian Americans. This is just the most recent one, but they have quite a few videos on racism in America, so check these out too. AJ Plus. They are a global news community for the connected generation. They highlight human struggles and achievements, empower impassioned voices, and challenge the status quo. The specific video I am linking here was posted 2 weeks ago, and it's called I Shouted for Help, but Nobody Helped Me. Asian Americans are under attack. But there are so many videos about this topic and delving further into the history behind the issue. I just think this particular video highlights some aspects of the issue that the other videos I've mentioned haven't touched on yet. These are all the ones that I am mentioning here, but there are obviously going to be so many others. Please feel free to recommend more below and I will add them to the Google Doc. Also, if anyone wants to recommend books or other kinds of resources that I'm not mentioning in this video, that would be awesome too. Part 2. Links to non-profits, resources, and GoFundMes. I will start with the GoFundMes. There is the Memorial for Yongyu and Peterson family, organised by Rob Pete, the youngest son of Yongyu. In loving memory of Sooncha Kim, organised by Hilary Lee on behalf of Regina Song, her granddaughter. In memory of Hyunjung Kim, to support My Brother and I, organised by Randy Park, the son of Hyunjung Kim. ATL Spa Shooting Family Survivor Fund, Jami Webb, organised by Lauren Maloney on behalf of Ying Tan, Jami Webb, the only child of Xiaozhe Emily Tan. Atlanta Spa Shooting victim Paul Michelle, organised by Brittany on behalf of Bonnie Michelle, spouse of Paul Michelle. Delana Ashley Yon Gonzalez, organised by Amy Sinkej. For husband of Soon Si Park, victim of spa shooting, organised by Kwang Ho Lee, husband of Soon Chung Park. Help Noel Quintana, organised by Molly Ma on behalf of Noel. For those of you who don't have the resources to donate, I encourage you to check out the GoFundMes anyway, to learn more about the victims from those who were close to them. Non-profits. Asian Americans Advancing Justice Atlanta. It is the first and only non-profit legal advocacy organization dedicated to protecting the legal rights of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders. AANHPI, in Georgia and the Southeast. It was founded in 2010 as the Asian American Legal Advocacy Center, AALAC. Their focus areas are policy advocacy, organizing and civic engagement, impact litigation, and legal services. They provide information on voting and elections and hold events like election protection training and virtual citizenship clinics. Hate is a Virus. This is a community action fund. As previously mentioned, it was co-founded by Tammy Cho and Michelle K. Hanabusa. They are raising $1 million to support Asian-led small businesses in an effort to combat the impact that rising anti-Asian hate is having. You can donate or you can visit their store. A lot of it is sold out, but you can still get the original Hate is a Virus t-shirt. They also have a list of resources that you can access in order to educate yourself on the situation. For a variety of other sources, including other places to donate to and where to report incidents, RemLife and Your Mom Ashley have each organised really helpful lists. RemLife is a daily vlogger and she recently uploaded a video called This Needs to Stop on the 25th of March. Most of the video is a regular daily vlog, but in the beginning and the end she addresses the recent events and shares the emotional impact and her thoughts. In the description, she has listed a plethora of useful resources, including the GoFundMes I have listed above. On Ashley's Instagram, Ashley K, She has the highlights AAPI shops, AAPI creators, and help AAPI. Part 3. An inadequate and cursory glance at anti-Asian hate in Aotearoa/New Zealand. NZ's long history of anti-Asian racism, written in October 2017 by Cass Mason, focusing on the perspective of Emma Ng, a Chinese New Zealander writer and curator. The book focused on in this piece is called Old Asian, New Asian. According to this article, Chinese people first came to New Zealand in the 1860s. Between 1879 and World War II, Chinese were targeted by 55 race-based amendments, including a poll tax that charged Chinese immigrants the equivalent of nearly $20,000 to enter the country. Even New Zealand-born Chinese could not get the pension, vote, or hold local body office. Tight immigration rules stopped Chinese men bringing their families out to New Zealand, effectively rendering them single, with exclusionary measures continuing well into the 1960s. The State Services Commission figures from 2015 show only 2.1% of leadership positions in the public service are held by people who identify ethnically as Asian, even though Asian people made up 11.8% of the total population in the 2013 census. According to the 2018 census, they now make up 15.1. Asian New Zealanders are underrepresented in Parliament, and their voter turnout is lowest of any group in the country except for youths. Stats likely not unrelated to Chinese New Zealanders being denied the right to vote between 1908 and 1952. There are 120 members of Parliament. According to the Parliament website, last updated against the provisional results of the 2020 election, 8 of those MPs are Asian. That's about 6.7%. On living in New York, Ng says, "There has been no point here where I felt self-conscious about being Asian in the same way that I do when I'm in New Zealand." One of New Zealand's biggest problems is that people find it so difficult to talk about race, especially anti-Asian racism, she says. Twyford's racist, cynical, Chinese property bias statistics debunked. One News, July 2015. To give a brief summary of the events, an employee of one large real estate agency in New Zealand leaked data to Labour employee Phil Twyford. The data covered about 4,000 purchases between February and April 2015 and showed 39.5% came from people whose last name appeared to be of Chinese descent. Phil Twyford draws the conclusion Chinese New Zealanders, 9% of Auckland population, people of Chinese descent, bought 39.5% of houses sold by a major Auckland real estate firm. This is foreign money. Keith Ng, data journalist, responds in an article called "My Last Name Sounds Chinese," published on Public Address, a community of blogs, in July 2015. He says, "I don't own a house, but if I bought one, I hope that cynical politicians wouldn't blame people whose last name sounds Chinese for driving up house prices beyond the reach of hard-working Kiwi first home buyers, as if people whose last name sounds Chinese can't be hard-working Kiwi, as if we are taking their houses." Here's the thing with Labour's analysis of Auckland house sales, which the Herald are running with. Behind the curtain, there's nothing more to it than going through house sale records and asking, do these names sound Chinese? It cannot tell you whether these people are speculators, investors, or owner-occupiers, and it cannot tell you whether they are offshore, immigrants from the 90s, or if their ancestors have been here since the gold rush. Let's be grown-ups about this. Twyford can say, "We're not criticizing local Chinese," all he likes. Hell, he might as well tell us that some of his best friends are Chinese. But when his headline is screaming, "The Chinese are buying all our houses," when he says a tsunami of Chinese money is heading to our shores, it's clear that he's blaming Chinese people, and it's obvious that that's the message that will be received. Phil Twyford, Labour, and the Herald. You are fueling racial division in this country. You are encouraging people to question whether ethnically Chinese people ought to be able to buy houses. You are saying that people with Chinese-sounding names are dangerous foreigners who will destroy the Kiwi way of life with real estate purchases. Coronavirus. Asian parents remove child from school as COVID-19 racism spikes. Donnelly Biddle, Stuff News, May 4th. NetSafe has seen a 63% increase on reports between January 1st and April 12th compared to the previous 6 months. The reports were incidents categorized as having a hate speech element. NetSafe spokeswoman Angela Boundy said, "This means reports that denigrate a person's color, race, ethnic or national origins, religion, gender, sexual orientation, or disability." In the past 5 weeks alone, the Human Rights Commission has received 252 reports relating to coronavirus. Race Relations Commissioner Meng Foon said 86 were considered race-related, with the bulk of those reports geared towards Asian people. They primarily related to anti-Chinese racism and harassment, or to events affecting other people of Asian descent who believe they are mistaken for being Chinese. In one example that happened pre-level 4 lockdown, a student was removed from her Whangarei school after experiencing daily racist abuse, including bullying, discrimination, and isolation. Her parents feared she wouldn't be safe if she stayed. So, there you have it, a short and inadequate look at anti-racism in New Zealand. For a more thorough look, I encourage you to read the full articles that I have mentioned above, as well as to check out the works of Emma Ng. There is also an article in the spin-off called Anti-Asian Hate and Violence is Not Confined to America. It is right here in NZ2 by Teo Lin, where she talks about her experience with racism. And Dad, Why Don't Kiwis Like Us Chinese, which is a transcribed radio interview between Duncan Garner and Shane Tipo. All the resources mentioned in the video will be available in a Google Doc below, as well as all the sources I used. I will also have my usual helpful links below that aren't necessarily related to anti-Asian racism. I am out of practice with consolidating and analyzing data. If you have more accurate resources or I'm spreading misinformation, please let me know. I hope you all stay safe and well. Thank you and goodbye.